Welcome back to today's morning report on Tuesday, the 26th of January, with me, Rich Perry, market analyst at Antec Markets. Moving on to dollar yen, and we've interestingly had a slight little recovery today after early weakness. Now, this doesn't do a massive amount for the chart yet, but it is an interesting sort of development. You've still got the momentum. This is the daily chart. You've still got the momentum that broke the downtrend sequence on the RSI. The improvement in the MACD lines and the stochastics, that's all still in place. But the hourly chart is a little bit more mixed of outlook, really, isn't it? I mean, let's just take the crosshair off and then zoom out. You sort of rallied through all this overhead resistance Friday, and just started to retrace that move yesterday. But you've sort of bounced off a minor support at 1760 area. And it gives a bit more of a mixed outlook, doesn't it, the near-term chart? Because obviously these moving averages are still sort of rising, and you still bounced off that 144-hour moving average. I just think there's a little bit of uncertainty going on here, near term, and you've sort of held on to some of the support band, and you're now up and testing 1835, which was a bit of a breakout level, cows these sort of reaction highs pretty much, and sort of started to come in and being used as support before yesterday's or the overnight breakdown today. So 1835 is a bit of a pivot level, I think, on this chart, and if the dollar yen can break back above it, that would put the outlook fairly positive again. But obviously there is this sort of, in the last day or so, this sort of sequence of lower highs that's now forming. So if you form another lower high around 1835, which, to be honest, if this sequence were to be continued, then that would be around about the area that you'd see it, then that would again be fairly corrective within this sort of phase that we're going through. It seems as though that at the moment the support of the around sort of 1650 is in place. And obviously the sharp rally that we had off those lows seemed to maintain that, and obviously with the improving daily momentum. However, the near-term sort of outlook, as I said on the hourly chart, is a little bit less certain than that, and a little bit less sort of improving. But it'd be interesting to see what happens around this 1835 pivot line. Because as I said, that is, for me, that is the line at which we're sort of starting to get, if the chart ever comes up, we're starting to get this pivot coming in again. And that would be maybe a near-term sort of changeable sort of level, because if you sort of break above it, as I said, you're sort of back above the moving averages as well on the hourly chart, and you're back above the resistance. So it's an interesting level that I think possibly should be watched today, and could well be played around with today, because there's a fair bit of data out this afternoon, US side. Be interested to see how that drives the markets, and also sentiment. Watching the oil price is also an issue today. So plenty to think about, I think, on dollar. Not too much in terms of decisive move at the moment, but yeah, plenty to think about. So I wish you good luck in your trading, and I'll speak to you later.